A group of ordinary Oklahomans that has closely studied issues of EPIC charter schools for the past 13 months came out with a stunning interim report Thursday. The Oklahoma multi-county grand jury finds an, quote, incestuous relationship, end quote, between the governing board for the state's largest school system and EPIC Youth Services, the school's for-profit school management company. Quote, the system has failed to provide accountability and allowed the company to take advantage and generate a substantial personal profit on the backs of Oklahoma students, end quote. Elsewhere, the jury says, quote, by failing to provide appropriate oversight, the entities responsible have allowed significant public funds to be diverted into private accounts without transparency, end quote. The grand jury issued no indictments, but said the investigation continues. Quote, the intentional diversion of public funds, obfuscation of public employees, and lack of cooperation with oversight entities has made the investigation difficult to be completed in a timely manner, end quote, the report says. The grand jury details the shifting of tens of millions of taxpayer dollars for school expenses into the private accounts of EYS. The company has reportedly made millionaires of EPIC co-founders David Cheney and Ben Harris. Quote, as designed, this system is ripe for fraud, the report says. The grand jury, end quote. The grand jury outlined a clear agenda for change, including statutory reforms from the legislature and more intense independent oversight from the school's legal sponsors and the Oklahoma State Department of Education. Among other things, the report called for immediate disclosure and reconciliation of EPIC's Student Learning Fund expenditures and acknowledgement that they are public funds. Reimbursement to the state of any student funds that were not spent to benefit students. An investigation of EPIC by the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency. Publication of operating contracts for any outside school management companies working with Oklahoma charter schools, and a legislative comparison of management fees. Conflict of interest disclosures and competitive bidding requirements for school management organization companies. Prohibition of public employees performing tasks for the benefit of private education management companies, and of the use of public funds on advertising and marketing. A spokeswoman for EPIC said the school has made some operational changes in recent months to address concerns and pledged cooperation with the grand jury. We don't think the changes that have been announced are sufficient. A good first start toward cooperation would be to reveal publicly the details of how the Student Learning Fund has been spent. Beyond that, we think the best reforms would be those generated by independent agents of the public, the State Department of Education, the statewide virtual charter school board, and most important, the legislature. It's not too much to expect the state's limited education funding should be used to educate children. The shadow cast over the state's largest school damages the state's credibility with parents and taxpayers and must be addressed aggressively.